Mitraman Bandhu, welcome to South Asia Maths Education channel. This is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy, and today we are going to talk about part 69, Human Ecology, Industrialism. Under human ecology itself, we have covered broader topics like predicament and industrialism and population and so on. And so essentially they are human ecology, how humans interact with the environment. By 2022 AD, this is recorded in October 2022, there are round about 400 million cars on the planet Earth. Excuse me. 1.4 billion cars. Billion is 9 zeros after 1. Million is 6 zeros after 1. 1400 million cars is 1.4 billion cars. In Indian terms is 140 crores. And why we have put this topic under human ecology, after this presentation we will know. Excuse me. And this is the presentation, and Mitraman Bandhuvam, and this is my main YouTube channel, South Asia Maths J. Reddy, and I have already posted more than 285 or so, many presentations on human ecology, Indology, global geography, and many things, and you will find definitely some of them will be very interesting and fascinating for you to explore, and you can go and look at them and make your comments. And this is under human ecology. There are 1400 million cars. How do you remember these 1400 million cars? Is very easy. You make 530 in this part, Asia and I think Australia, around about 500 here, 400 in the Europe, that becomes 900. You become 300 here, that becomes 1200. Remaining 200 you can split in the South America, in Africa, Middle East differently. So you get a broader perspective, 500, 400, 300. But this is the actual number. A car is a detritivore. As like all detritivores, the cars they eat, depend, survive on detritus. What is a detritus? Is a dead organic material, decaying organic material. A animal falls off after death, that means it's decaying or dead, it disintegrates, that is detritus. A plant cut off is a detritus. Animal droppings are detritus. And the historical, the millions of years back, plants and animals, microbes falling off, they are processed and converted into coal, oil, natural gas. Also a detritus. Anything that eats on them is a detritus. Detritivore, a detritivore. That is, humans living on industrial agriculture are detritivores. And these cars, they are manufactured with this oil base, the coal base, and their everyday run based upon the oil. Even if you use electricity, has to come from the coal or burning of the natural gas. So these are just like humans eating industrial food, detritivores. Cars are also detritivores, competing with humans for the same resources broadly. That is the point you have to keep in mind. Yeah, this is the exact figures. There are 400 millions, 1400 million cars on the planet Earth. About 1800, when the steam engine started, around about 1800, and by 1900 cars were manufactured in Germany by Benz and all those companies. This like models and automobiles introduced. Very few people possessed it. By 1900, 1910 World War time, the wealthy people or the governments in the army and those type of people possess the automobiles. Then after that there is a proliferation of the cars. called eruption of the cost, that is ecological eruption. Due to oil digging and a lot of oil brought into and manufacturing done, paved roads were built, of course loans were given. This is the economical aspect. Cheap raw material was the source building the car. In 2022 there was almost 1400 million cars. 1900 the number was not even a few thousand. You can count by handful. Within 125 years or so, they bloomed. That is called ecological blooming, ecological eruption, growth in number. Automatically it will lead to any detritivore, they will crash. Their numbers has to come lot less. That's what it is, ecological bloom and ecological class. All detritivores erupt, they crash. There will be less cars by 2050 or so. By that time the oil drum of the planet Earth will collapse and we should see lot less number of cars on the planet Earth. If you split this 1400, where do you get this figure? I looked at it. Even the Wikipedia says there are 1.4 billion cars on the planet Earth. You can go and look at them. This we are talking about just four-wheeler automobiles. We are not talking about the two-wheelers that are most popularly used in any Asian countries, Vietnam, India, Pakistan and so on, and very big trucks, buses and lorries, and those things we are not talking about. This is the four-wheeler, a car used for transportation. Among 1400, Asia has 530, Europe has a 402, I think it's 420, 420 should be there, North America 350, South America. How to easily remember? Very easy. You start with 5 here in Asia and Far East, that include Australia and New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand have around about 30 million people. Even if you give half a car to each, there should be only 15 million or so, something like that. 500 here, 400, that becomes 900. Then add around about 400, that becomes 1200. Remaining 200 you can accommodate in South America, Africa and Middle East and so on. So that is about the 1400 detritivores on the planet Earth. 1400 million. How many humans are present in the planet Earth? There are around about 8 billion by 2023. You divide 8,000 by 14,000, it gives around about something like 5 or so. That means for a 5, if you consider a family has a 5 people, in the entire planet Earth, every family gets in a four-wheeler automobile detritivore. So I have brought this topic, all the detritivores, they bloom and crash. What is the coroner's report? In the industrial societies, if a person passes away, a non-medical professional inquiries and make a death report, the cause of demise. Suppose a person, where did the person die? What was the probable cause of death? And what are the circumstances of death? This is not the forensic report, this is generic. A person died in the particular highway, that is the cause of the death is the entire car was burned, the person suffered bodily injuries, and that is the reason for death. This is how it happened. And if you make a coroner's report by eventually by future generation, why this detritivore died on the planet Earth, they will say resource depletion, resource exhaustion, that is detritus material disappeared, collapsed on this planet Earth, that is the oil, coal base, that what you will see. Of course, they also exude the carbon dioxide that may have green gas effects and all other correlated economic changes, ecological changes, political changes, economy crashes, people cannot afford many cars, they cannot pay insurances, even though still there is a oil present, most of them they will drive a lot less, and all those things. Coronary report, you can figure it out, you can see the future generations will be talking about. That's what I did in this 51 comparison. You can see more about the ecological bloom that is eruption, growth in number, ecological crash, that is the decrease in number, bloom and crash. We compared algae in the plant. All these are detritivores, surviving seasonally, and the nutrients coming in the pond. Then the yeast in the new vat with plenty of sugar-laden grape juice. And humans, 8 billion on the planet Earth today, all are the products of industrial agriculture. Food comes from there. Detritivore and all the similar Coroner's report. All these organisms, they bloomed. All these organisms have crashed because of nutrient depletion, resource depletion, that is the detritus depletion on the planet Earth. That's what about the planet Earth. There are around about 1400 million cars on the planet Earth, populated by 8,000 million people. 8,000 by 1400 will give around about 5 or so. For every 5-person family of 5, there is one automobile 4-wheeler on the planet Earth. We are not talking about the buses, the trucks, the lorries, 2-wheelers, which are many more in many parts of the world. That is about the planet Earth's 1400 detritivores. And this concept of detritus and all this explained very well by Dr. Catton's pioneering work, Overshoot, next sequel of that book, bought in next century. And I talked about today in part 69, that is 1400 million cars on the planet Earth, is a detritivore device like human detritivore. And we previously looked about the carrying capacity, insights, redundancy, anxiety, more fear, circular energy, linear energy. We compared them, and various provinces of South India, how they pump how many million people to the almost 11 or 13 million people India pumps every day into the planet Earth. Every year 80 million people are pumped to the planet Earth. How the important countries, they contribute that. Of course, the main 50 series I presented very interesting aspects of them. Cargoism, cosmetism, how the post-exuberant era we adapt to the situations. And if you listen this series and comprehend them, you will get a different inkling of the life on the planet Earth as it runs today, not the political viewpoint or social viewpoint, but ecological basis of the life. Our future is not determined by the politicians, political leaders and parties. It is determined by the ecology resources on the planet Earth. That's why the Liebig's law of minimum plays a very important role. And I talked about this Liebig's law of minimum extensively, and you can look at them somewhere. Liebig's law, somewhere I have not mentioned here. There should be somewhere Liebig's law of minimum. You can see the 40, 41, 42 and so on, sword of Damocles, under resource depletion and so on. So this will give you a new perspective. So that perspective is needed. If the entire planet, the political leaders, social workers have read the Dr. Catton's work and make the major decisions, our future should not be in such jeopardy or in the predicament situation. That's what Dr. Catton's work says. And thank you very much listening to me, Dr. J. Reddy at South Asia Maps. Mitraman Bandhuvam, if you like the presentations, I really appreciate you consider subscribing the channel and bring this to your friends' notice. And you can also find me at Twitter site, India Maps 2, number 2 at the end, India Maps 2. And see you later in other presentation.